it is 6 o'clock. We're calling this the March 12th board meeting to order. Dave, if you will, we'll call or say the pledge. Bill, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
I don't know what to say. I can do a Canadian national anthem if you want to.
Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, that was pitiful, folks.
You did it. You said it.
Okay, Clerk Stamey, if you would say the roll, please.
Bob. Here. Heather.
Here.
Linda.
Here.
Dave. Here. Ryan.
Here.
All right, everyone is present. If I could please have I have one addition to the agenda, please. If under unfinished business, you have on your desks a resolution to apply for a grant. The grant for the power plan is due on Friday, and they require a resolution. So if we could please add that to the agenda. With that addition, if I could have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Any discussion or additional edits? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Next on the agenda is our public budget hearing. If I could have a motion, please, to open the public budget hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support. All right, we have a motion and support. The public budget hearing is now open. All right, members of the public. This is your time to ask any questions regarding the budget. You should have before you on the table, we have copies of the budget, plus Heather has prepared a budget narrative which explains some of the questions or some of the issues, the major issues about the budget. And Heather, do you want to say anything or make any explanation about the budget?
I did write a narrative that follows the budget. It doesn't address every single line item or it would be a novel, but it just kind of the main points, maybe some things that are new or have changed or things that the board talked about at our work sessions.
I have a question.
Sure.
Why is the senior millage? Oh, it went up.
It went up.
It went up.
Never mind.
That's a good thing, yes, yep.
It did go up this year.
Yes, it did.
That's
Yep.
wonderful, and thank the township for spreading that out. A lot of township people do not even know about a senior millage, so. thank
That's
you.
correct. A lot of people don't apply for it at all, even though they have that opportunity.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh.
yeah. So we are really fortunate that
Yes.
we have a very active senior millage campaign here.
Yeah.
Any question? I know we haven't given you much opportunity to look at it. And I think as you go through this, later on, if you see anything that pops up that you want to ask, there's an additional opportunity later on when you have public opportunity to ask questions. Please feel free during that time to ask any other questions. So, does anyone else have any other questions that they might want to ask at this time? No? Okay. With that, I've given people a couple opportunities to ask any questions about the budget. This is our 24-25 public budget or budget. It's right now at this point, it is a draft. I will ask for a motion to close the public budget hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right? The public budget hearing has now been closed. Now, if I could have a motion to open the board meeting, the regular board meeting for March 12th.
Motion.
I'll support.
All right, thank you. And next on the agenda is supervisor's remarks. And I feel compelled to make these remarks, and I'll keep it as short as possible. Should just take me about a moment. Next on our agenda after the remarks are minutes from January 9th. So in reviewing your January minutes for approval, you will notice that the board sent the pavilion rental agreement back to the Parks and Rec Committee for their consideration and recommendation. The committee deliberated at considerable length and gave their recommendation to the board, encouraging them to charge a $30 fee for residents and a $50 fee for non-residents with no damage deposit. We, as individuals on the board, have the right to vote our conscience. We should. This statement is more about my apology to the members of the Parks and Rec Committee. Anyone who watched last month's video knows that I truly struggled with my vote. Eventually, I voted for board harmony, even though it was not what I believed to be the correct decision. I regret that vote. I cannot take it back. A vote is a vote. To the members of the Parks and Rec Committee, two of the members of the Parks and Rec Committee came to me later and wondered why we had bothered to ask them to do this work. Now, they are somewhat reluctant to serve on this committee. I just want you to know I am very sorry, and I just hope you will accept my apology. And that's just me apologizing. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, I would like a motion, please, for approval of the January 9th and February 13 minutes.
There is a correction that needs to be made on the February minutes. The trustee salary amount is, I believe, is not correct, and
Okay, that would be my fault, I typed that in.
okay.
Oh, mine.
I typed that in.
What, I don't remember what the amount was that's on the salary resolution, but that's the amount.
Yeah,
So.
that's incorrect.
Okay, all
I
right.
would move to approve them with the
With the correct
correction
amount.
of the correct salary amount in the trustees.
I'll
Okay.
support.
Okay.
All right, do not ask me to type in figures.
I know. We don't let you touch the numbers.
Okay, we will make those edits. All right.
All right,
So-
make a
support
motion to accept them as amended.
All right, so we have a motion and a support, and just may have voice vote on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that the
Motion
kind of voice
carries.
you want? Is that the kind of voice vote you wanted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, now on to, I have so many papers here that I am going to need to move some of this stuff off to the side.
Treasurer's report.
Yeah.
Our,
Okay.
are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Our general fund beginning balance for February 1st, 2024 was $1,122,073.40. Revenues totaled $265,208.48. Expenditures totaled $47,693.93, leaving an ending balance of $1,339,587.95.
Thank you, Heather. I had an opportunity to ask Heather a couple of questions, which she clarified for me. So does anyone else have any questions to ask of Heather? If not, then we will place the treasurer's report on file. Thank you very much. All right, disbursements. Clerk Stamey.
Nothing out of the ordinary, just usual bills.
All right, could we have a motion to pay the regular bills?
Make the motion.
I'll support.
All right, since we're paying bills, then we need I will ask for a roll call on this.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
the motion carries. Thank you. Correspondence.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm trying to think of your correspondence, but that was this month, so, but no, not the last month.
Okay, all right, thank you. Public comments, agenda items only. Anyone? Okay, thank you. All right, now onto the board. I need a motion to accept, this is new business, motion to accept, modify, reject, or delay the budget as it has been presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
All right, since we are talking about dollars.
Well, now we can discuss.
Yeah.
If there's any discussion.
Okay.
Right.
So I think that because we're going to be most likely paving the
Oh, that's right, you had
driveway,
some addition.
entryway to the pole barn area, I think we should increase Hall and Grounds capital outlay. I don't know what that's gonna cost, if anybody has an idea.
Now, I am going to go to the road commission meeting tomorrow, and I will hopefully have an opportunity to ask them to give me a ballpark figure.
Okay. And it's 40 by 36.
Okay,
40 by 36, that's the size of the area that they'll pave?
Yes.
Okay,
So it's not a real
Okay.
large
okay.
piece.
Do
but
you have a ballpark guess of what that would cost?
I do not.
Okay.
Asphalt changes from year to
Okay.
year, and
okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to give you the wrong information.
So currently we have $50,000 budgeted in Hall and Grounds capital outlay. Would another 5, 10?
I would put it at
Wasn't this parking lot like 20 when we redid this parking lot?
23.
23?
Yeah,
And
for
but
this
that's-
whole parking lot, and
So we could say 10 maybe for over there?
that would be over, but yeah,
Okay,
I would say 10 would cover it easy,
okay.
so.
Are you comfortable?
Because they
with-
would be doing it in conjunction, if
With the
we were to
road.
pave Sweeter Road, they
Right.
would be doing it in conjunction with another project, although they would be billing us independently.
And if we were to have them just come out for that job,
It would be more.
it would be more.
Okay,
Right.
But since they're already there, you know, the cost to be down because the equipment's here.
right,
so.
that's good.
That's if we were to, if the board were to vote on Sweeter Road.
Okay. So are you comfortable with changing that to 60 from 50?
50. I'm gonna just make some comments, you know, Heather and I went back and forth on this a little bit. We do have a building program planned this year. And if we did the building program and all these projects, it would make our balance look pretty bad. So we don't really know what the cost is gonna be yet, or the timing of these payments, or if it'll even happen this year. So we decided to leave that out entirely with the anticipation down the road that it will be spread out rather than putting in the budget right now, so. that's something we're looking at this year, but I'm,
I was nervous as well.
yeah.
And then, you know, is there any federal budget or money out there that we may get as a grant? Is there any state money? I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
we have not even
that was some of the
investigated
questions
that,
that,
so, yeah.
you know, I would've had, you know, and maybe our state rep, Curtis Vanderwall could answer some of that stuff, you know, in
It
the
should-
next few months, you know, if
Yeah.
there's something in Lansing
Yeah.
that we could possibly get 0 interest loan or something.
Yeah, we
Nice.
definitely wanna do a lot more investigating and research before
Right.
we start.
Before we put it in the budget.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
So-
it's-
But I agree with you, Dave.
Anyone else have any other questions, comments, concerns, changes? Okay.
Should we vote?
I'm ready. I've spent enough time with this.
Yes, you have.
Brian,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Linda,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
all right.
Okay.
And I would just like to make the comment that once again, the board did not address this lightly. We met on a number of occasions. Heather has poured over this relentlessly. So, so thank you very much. As always, Heather, we really appreciate it. So, I'm sure you see numbers in your sleep.
I do, yeah, I've been dreaming about the budget, so
Yeah.
happy to get it all wrapped up.
Yeah, so thank you. And I will do my best to get some additional numbers that would help you move into the appropriate categories. So, thank you very much. All right, the next item on our agenda is the Cedar Road project. And I had a conversation with Ken Halka, and at that time I asked him if he would do the Cedar Road portion into 2 separate categories or 2 separate portions because and you have that email, you should have the email in your packet. And Ken pointed out that the Cedar Road is not, and the Cedar Road we're talking about is this portion of Cedar Road right here by the township. And this is not what is considered a high trafficked area or a high, one that is highly used by the public. So for
Except
that
during ball games.
Pardon?
Except during ball games.
Except
Yeah.
during ball games. Or it's not considered one of high benefit to the public. And for that reason, the road commission is only allowed to contribute 25% rather than 50%, which they sometimes do for some of their projects. So the first amount for the paved project, that the total amount is $89,000. And so at 25%, that's and hopefully my math is correct here, is $66,750. And the gravel project is $141,000, and at taking into consideration 25% is $105,000. $750. So what I would do is I would like someone to bring forward a motion on paving or and or graveling Cedar Road. So it's one portion or both portions. So we are either paving So I'm trying to do a combination of both.
Well, we get a
Or do-
motion and
or a
support, then we
singular.
can talk about it. I'll make a motion
On what,
for the paving.
which one? This part?
The first part.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay,
Now we can talk
now you can talk.
about the gravel part. I think that price is way out of line.
I think it's high, and I think we ought to do it next year.
I've seen a lot of gravel upgrades, and the one we had on Oak Road, which is longer, and I think that was 63,000 if I remember right.
Hmm.
And this one would be 105, and it's a lot less traveled than that one is. And I just think the price is too high, and I just don't think that we should do it right now, the gravel. But the paving, I'm in support of that. That needs to get done.
I agree.
It's right along where our park's at and stuff like that. But that's just me.
Brian?
I agree.
Okay. Heather?
I agree.
I agree as well. That Cedar Road, the paved portion needs to be done. I happen to have traveled this portion, the paved portion, a lot as we've gone back and forth to look at the park area here, and it's a mess. It's a mess.
So we're just gonna do it along our border here, just to the end? I mean, it's the front half is the bad part. Are they gonna do just the part abutting or adjacent to our property, or the whole paved portion?
The whole paved portion.
I think the whole paved portion they're gonna do. And, because if you do them in separate, pretty soon that down there is gonna turn into potholes, and, you know, we pay for that when the road commission comes out to Durapatch and stuff like that. And we'll probably have to chip seal it in a couple of years, but it's money saved that way, you know, and chip seal's not that expensive.
Yeah. Chip sealing, you know the answer to this, but it extends the life of the road by, I can't think.
7 years, chip seal does. But, if you're going to the town, or to the road commission tomorrow, ask Ken Hulk if he'll come in here and please cut the canopy out. So, you know, so we're not gonna replace this road in 3 or 4 years.
When you said the tree canopy,
Tree canopy.
I think I'm gonna, with
And I'm
as
sure
many
he'd
questions
do
as
it.
I have for
I'm
Ken,
sure
this
if
is.
you ask him, he'd come out, cause they always look for stuff to do,
Okay.
so. But we're not paying for that.
Okay.
That's just a favor, huh?
Just kidding.
Okay, so we have, it sounds like everyone is in agreement on this. We have a motion and a support. We've discussed, everyone seems to be in agreement that we pave Cedar Road. We are clearly talking about the money, so I would like a roll call vote on this.
Linda,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dave, yes.
Okay, motion carries, thank you. Now is the joint project on Dawson Road. And, this is Bob's baby. There's no other way, Bob has been talking about this for years,
Since
and-
first year I come on board,
Okay,
because it is bad. And when I worked at the road commission, I got to go waste a lot of gravel on that road myself. So I knew the township's been paying for gravel for, I'm guessing 30 years. But you guys were, well, you weren't here. None of us were here, but they've been paying for gravel on that road, because what it does is it'll wash right down that hill, goes into this gentleman's driveway. I'm not gonna mention any names, but he said over that 30 years, he's got a pretty nice driveway. Cause it goes right into his driveway, almost like what Andy had at his house.
I'd like to make a motion to discuss this.
Okay, this is, but just so everyone knows, we are talking about Dawson Road. This is a shared project with Dalton Township and the Muskegon County Road Commission. The Road Commission would be paying 50% of the project, and Dalton Township and Cedar Creek Township would each be paying, the project total is $58,000. Dalton Township and Cedar Creek would each be paying $14,500. All right, Brian made a motion.
Support.
And Bob made the supporting motion. All right, let's discuss.
Bob, you said, last year, I think it was, that there's an issue with this road, that it's just, there's no ditching or
Well,
anything? Are they gonna improve that?
there's no place for the water to go. It's got berm on this side, this high, on both sides of the road. So the water
they're gonna
just
fix
lays
that?
right in the road.
There, in the email there to me, it
See, it
says
says
there's
they're
some
gonna
ditching.
improve
is-
ditching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, it's not
So
just
they'll
gonna
have
waste the money.
somewhere for the water to go.
All right.
And that needed to happen years ago, and we've been talking about it for years, and there's quite a few trees I think some people have already taken out of there, so I don't know how many trees yet are still there that will have to be taken out, but once we did our job, then it's up to them to do theirs, so.
Dalton Township did pass this last night at their board meeting.
But it is a lot cheaper than what the bids we were getting in the past, so.
Needs to be done.
I'm hoping this is I don't know that it is the absolute resolution to this problem. It is at least a beginning resolution.
Yes.
That road is not great.
A lot of times it comes, depending on how much rain it becomes impassable.
Yeah,
And you can't get school buses down it, ambulances, fire trucks. And they have, complained about it.
and I explained they're using a different gravel on this one, which is a harder packing gravel. They did explain to me as well that it would create a little bit more dust.
But
So,
we brine it anyway,
yeah,
so.
okay. This is money to be spent again, so roll call vote, please.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
motion carries. Okay, also in your packet, you have an estimate from K&R. All right, Bob, I'm going to let you explain this one.
Yes. This estimate is for putting insulation in the pole barn. To blow in the top, it's an R30. That'd be $3,000. And then this one down here where it's 11,000 to do the spray in insulation, that's way too high. That's just, it's ridiculous. So, but if you look at above that, where it says $4,750, that's to frame in the walls, put a R19 bat insulation, labor and materials, $4,750. Then at the below that, 11,000 is install white sheet metal panels inside the barn. And that's $5,400 for a total price of $13,150. There is still money in our budget from the pole barn, and I think this should be done, and I only say that because, well, I guess in discussion, I'll talk about that, so. As far as, the heat in the summertime, and if you don't insulate it, so.
Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll make motion.
Second.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion and support.
Bob, you know how I feel. I talked to you about this already. I just have a hard time justifying putting insulation in the building. We don't plan on heating. We built the structure to get our equipment out of the elements and stuff, but we don't plan on heating it. Why would we insulate?
Well,
It's just,
if you put a plow truck in there in the winter time and it's 10 below zero, you put insulation in that building, it will melt. I mean,
Well,
it'll
and that-
get above, it'll
you'll
get
get more
above.
corrosion in warm weather than you do in cold. You're better off leaving that salt in the cold rather than warming it up and letting it eat away your frame.
Well, you need to get rid of that moisture, and with insulation,
It's gonna be
you're
frozen.
gonna get rid of the moisture. And who knows, we may eventually heat it, I don't know. But I mean, I think this is a start. I think that pole barn will last longer with the insulation. But
What was our original budget on the pole barn?
125,000.
What are we at now, about 83?
I don't have this all in my head here. Hold on.
I was hoping that the pole barn was gonna be more than just a place to park trucks. Eventually sometime maybe to store, move some things out if we're gonna do anything with the
Well,
building in here.
we're gonna move some of
So-
Dave's
Into-
stuff in there.
So we have
Storage.
spent
Yeah.
108,785 on capital outlay for the hauling grounds. That included the pole barn and the parking lot here as well.
Alright.
But
So I
there is other things we can do in there.
Yeah.
And there's only two things that are lacking in that pole barn from us doing things. It's a fire extinguisher on each end of the building.
Okay.
And we get that, I talked to Jeff, and he said we could do what we need to do over there. Like the bags, the food, we'd be able to do
We can
that.
store that stuff in there, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a small space, and we got that pole barn now. We put a few tables over there, and we could, I think we should utilize it the best we can.
I guess that's where I was going. If it's insulated and eventually heated, it can be utilized for much more than just parking our trucks. Some day down the road, in the future, there may be a utilization for it more than what we're utilizing it now. If you insulate it, you're gonna be cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter, bottom line. It's just all steel barn. In the summer, you will get corrosion like Dave's talking, sweating and such. If it's insulated, it's definitely gonna help with that. So I mean, I think it's within our budget from the original budget, so I mean, I would say that's a good thing for our township.
Did you talk to Jason?
No. No, I didn't. We're halfway through March. Are they going, so our fiscal year ends at the end of the month.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, so if the board decides to do this, we are probably going to have to amend the budget, next year's budget in that capital outlay line.
Can he start now?
I haven't talked to him, but if we okay it, I'll call him and say, hey, you gotta start it next week. No, I'll say that, but he might tell me he's doing other things, but I'll let him know it needs to be done right away.
That was gonna be my next question. Can it happen within this budget year? Because we budgeted for it. And we budgeted high because we were,
But if he starts it and it's not completed, he could, as long as it's started, he'd be able to finish his project under this budget.
that's a Heather question.
That might be an Eric question. It's not my area of expertise whether or not to insulate, so
I've been through it, where we started project at the nursery,
Mhm.
and we went in, it took 2 years for the project, so, and we had different budgets, but
I mean, if the board
that
decides
budget went along with the project.
they don't
so-
wanna insulate it, I mean, that's our prerogative. I think it's more usable when it's insulated. I built one a couple years ago, didn't insulate it right away, you couldn't go in the summer and you couldn't go in the winter. Park something in and scramble out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It depends on what the township wants to see for utilization long term. We're mainly built to get our trucks in there, because we have responsibility for that, to protect that resource. If we're gonna be storing things in there and such, or anybody
That was
working.
my
in it.
understanding from the beginning, it's gonna be storage to get our implements out of the weather.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know we're talking about insulation and heating and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, we're not talking about heating right now.
Not yet.
No.
We are not talking about heating, that is
But-
just too costly.
I got a 2002 Ford that I put in my garage in 2002, or
Still runs?
1990
The
Ford.
Ford,
I
that'll
put
make
in
that.
my garage in 2002. It hasn't rusted anymore than it had when I put it in there. And, at first I didn't have heater in there, but a couple years, 3 years, 4 years after that, I did put a heater in there. But I only keep it 45 degrees, so.
Well, okay, let's do this. We have a motion and a support, and we've discussed it. Let's do it on the, let's see if we can call them tomorrow and see if they can start the project.
If it passes.
Well, he
Yeah.
said it'd only
Let's
take
vote
him a
on it.
few days,
Yeah.
couple days,
Yeah.
few days to do it, so.
And see if it's possible to start it yet this fiscal year. And
Should
if
we
it,
vote?
and if it isn't, then we'll maybe address it
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Very fair.
Yeah, it's the 12th, so
Yeah.
I think he might help us out.
Let's vote.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
I really don't know.
Vote with how you feel.
Well, I wanna be fiscally responsible, but if this is important and it's going to be very helpful, then I don't wanna vote no. Can you just,
It falls within the budget original, correct?
If it falls
Yes.
within the original
Okay,
budget.
all right, on that
yeah.
condition, then yes, okay.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, no, Brian.
Yes.
Motion
passes.
Motion carries, yeah, thank you. Okay, this is also Bob, ground fill around the pole barn. And in my original message, we thought this was going to be a smaller project.
Well, we got that chip seal stone out there,
Everything in there.
and that needs to be moved.
You don't, nobody has anything.
You don't put
No.
No,
crushed concrete on top of that chip seal stone, so. I got a quote here from Brian Fowler
Opening bids.
that it talks, he wants to put, well, he said if he does it, and we need 50 yards of crushed concrete. And that's gonna cover the spots on the south end of the building. That'll be all put in there because the building is low, high, and he's gotta fill in the gaps and stuff. And then on this side of the building, the east side of the building, he would do like a driveway going, cause people do turn around in there and drive through there, and they'll break that hard pack eventually if we don't
I
do.
need to ask a question. We're not allowed to do that, are we? On Holton Duck Lake Road?
Do
What?
Are we allowed to exit on Holton Duck Lake Road?
The driveway.
Driveway's already there.
Sweeter. But the road commission said that you can only use the Sweeter Road driveway.
Put some fencing up out there.
Well, the road commission said that you can only use the Sweeter Road driveway.
Put some fencing up out there.
But the road commission said that you can only use the Sweeter Road driveway.
Yeah.
I'll double check, but I don't
I'm-
think they
I'm-
wanted,
I'm
it's too
pretty
close to
certain.
the intersection and they wanted that one eliminated, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Why would they want that eliminated?
Because it's too close to the intersection.
yeah.
I'll double check.
Try to get it
I'm
right.
pretty
God,
certain
we've
you're,
been
I'm pretty
used-
certain you're right.
When we did the tire drives,
But
road commission didn't have any problem then.
Leave it the way it
We
is.
used some of their vests and stuff,
But that was a.
but
that-
he knew about it.
I know, but I don't think that was a building. That was not a building.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of traffic gonna be going in and out of that driveway.
Lorraine will check that to.
Will you check it out,
Yeah.
Lorraine? Or do you want me to?
Lorraine needs to, she's gonna have to,
I can look back in my emails, but I remember it the way.
Well, you're gonna be at the road commission
Yeah.
tomorrow, ask that, but regardless.
Add that to your short list.
We still.
Yeah.
we
You're
gonna be
still-
there all day.
We
I'm
still
gonna-
have
yeah,
to
I'm
put
be
the
living
crushed
at the road
concrete
commission.
at that end of the building and then along the side of it, so.
I am absolutely certain that it was but I'm gonna ask them, but. Okay, keep going.
All right. And then we have our drain pipe. There's a drain pipe, about 45 feet. This pipe has gotta be put down the side and it'll come out to Cedar Road. From the floor drain, it's gotta come over and go into the ditch. That's gonna be buried. And then there'll be some gravel over top of that as well. And then Brian's gonna throw the black dirt in for free for the west side of the building. It's really low in there, and he's gonna put all black dirt in there. And then throw some grass seed in there, and it'll be something else that we can mow. We need more grass to mow, don't we?
Why not?
But the quote was 2,400. That's very reasonable to have your own piece of equipment to come out here. Cause you can't get a loader between that guardrail and that building, but you can as skid steer. So,
Okay, so that is, I have two. I'm not exactly sure to go with this. My original thought was when we thought it was going to be a smaller project, was to ask for a motion to have Bob handle this project. The project is somewhat larger now.
it's
It's the
a
cost.
half a day project.
I would say it shouldn't cost that much.
No, well, it's cost 2,400 bucks.
Oh,
Okay.
But you're getting
Right.
50 yards of gravel, that's,
Yeah.
50 yards of gravel are probably $1,800-$1,900, so. And, you know, the black dirt's free, and then the pipe, it's probably 60-80 bucks. But, and he said he could do these projects right away.
Right away, okay.
So that would be it'd be done in our budget year, so.
Okay,
Then the pole barn will be complete.
Yep. Well, other than we gotta
Promise?
get shelves. We gotta get.
Okay, that was a little dig.
We gotta get shelves yet, but I haven't seen Menards with their 11%.
We all felt that one.
When did they start digging the hole for that? Putting in posts
Where?
for the pole barn?
Well, it was supposed to start in September, but I think it was,
Hasn't been a year, right?
no.
It's a pretty good accomplishment.
Okay, I just need to be clear because Brian is a member of the township and we have within our power to, ask something of somebody in the township for something like this. It's still relatively small, but before we go forward with this, I need, because it's small-ish, I need to make sure that that everyone is comfortable that we don't need to go and ask for 3 bids on this. I just need to be I need to, I
I'm
need.
fine.
It's under
Oh.
the threshold of what we require.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
but I don't wanna make that decision,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
It has to be a board decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so then then the original motion is, or request on my message here to the board was to ask Bob to go ahead and work with Brian on this to work on this project.
And Bob made a motion and Brian seconded, so I
Okay.
think we just need to vote.
So, all right,
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
yes,
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
okay, thank you, motion carries. All right, now we are opening the sealed bids for the community parking lot and selecting the winner.
Did you make a motion on that?
What?
Or did I?
I made a
There's
motion.
Okay.
If you'll,
I didn't write it down.
That's for you, Mr. Clerk, yeah.
Oh, you
Oh,
taking
you
that?
copy slowly.
Well, I usually just write it down, so I know
Do you
where
see
we're
it?
at.
what,
Oh, yeah, you can pay. Like Christmas.
so, who wants to open the bid?
Dave, it's good.
We, you saw in the, my notes,
Like we did this one.
Is this for both of them? Both parking lots?
yes.
Right?
There was one correction that we made in the letter, we did the larger parking lot, extended that length to, it says 150. All people knew that it was, 200, not 150.
And we're gonna save that big oak tree in the back?
That big oak tree, we're saving the one at the end,
Okay.
yes.
Beautiful tree.
And we're going to clearly, they all know we're gonna clearly mark the trees that are to be saved.
Oh, good. Good.
All right, this is Ryerson Brothers. How they gonna, you're gonna cover it too with crushed asphalt?
Not asphalt.
That's what he's got. Crushed asphalt with crushed concrete.
It's grab,
All right, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing. This is for both of them, right? 36,590. That's installing the parking lot and coating it with crushed asphalt or concrete.
Which one was that?
Ryerson?
Oh,
I assume it's both of them.
they didn't do 200 as we explained.
Didn't they?
No, and we made that clear.
This is from Accurate Excavators. What was that quote? How much was that one? The second page?
36,590.
This is 36,925.
Wow.
Wow.
But I think it's 200 feet in there or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a little time to compare all these because I'm not sure they're putting coating on it or. Six inches of crushed concrete, compact. 38,850. Well, they're all pretty close.
Okay. I'll let you look at those.
Do you want copies? Do you want me to make copies?
I don't know. Do you want to?
I guess I'd like to
There's
read them all before you make a
Yeah,
Yeah,
decision.
it's
Yeah.
a lot to,
Yeah,
My statement is I'm not
See, he's
comfortable
got a
voting on
tree
it until I study this a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
and he said
We've
that
had a few,
if
oopsies.
this gets a separate,
This
For not to have
communication
that,
start on
yes.
that right away too.
Ryerson did know that it was 200,
Here's this thing, yeah.
and, I mean, the original bid does say
That's why I
100
bid
But
it,
you-
'cause
by
it's-
150,
it's
but
another
then at,
50.
when,
You
out in the
communicated.
grounds, we
Mhm.
corrected it to 200.
I mean, maybe
Oh,
that's a
did
typo
it
on
go
our
to-
part.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
should we
No,
check with
I-
them?
The other-
200 by 200. This one's
So-
right,
Okay,
and these ones, they only have 150 by 100.
Ryerson.
I'd say we all get copies, take a look at the scope of the work, and we study those individually, and then can we make our special meeting, can we vote on it? then?
Where there,
Table it till the special meeting?
Yeah.
Yep.
This one.
they're expecting to hear,
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think.
that's in the bid.
So my comment again is we've made some mistakes in the past.
Yeah, we can,
on the
I
scope
can
of
tell
work,
them,
Right?
I can tell them,
Yeah.
and I can actually,
and even we just took a day with it. and
Yeah,
then
even
somehow
if we take a
communicate
day.
it tomorrow.
Doing
Yeah.
another driveway here,
Well,
isn't he?
if we're voting on it though, we have to announce it.
we will, I will,
Yeah.
we can do
So
this.
there's,
The east
where's the
driveway.
map? The small.
Let them all know that there's,
This
that the
little
board
area
wanted
right
more time
here.
to study that.
They're
I-
just gonna
I'll need a
have like a
motion, though.
small approach here.
See, Brian
So
don't have that,
For us
but
to
he,
have
does
a
he know
vote,
about it?
we gotta put it out to the community, how
I don't
many,
know,
how it's in
because I
advance.
didn't meet with him.
24.
Well, he's
Um,
got the
18.
18, okay.
east end of the,
Oh, okay, yep.
yep, he's got it. That's this part right here.
Or if we wanna vote no. I feel better studying. I'd like to make a motion that we get copies of those and study them. We take a look at the scope of work, we take a look at the scope of work that Dave said they're going to do.
I'll support.
And we have a special meeting called so that then we can vote on it, so we
Okay.
can keep the project
27th,
moving.
yeah.
No, I don't think we can wait that long to.
When,
Whatever our
We
restraints are.
literally did say that we would call them the next day, so I will let them know that we're gonna call a special meeting and,
okay, when is the special meeting going to be?
I just said 18 hours, we could have one if we,
Yeah.
once we announce it.
Right. I'm just,
I'll make sure I make it.
that's,
can,
get it.
You could
Are
have
we
a
able-
phone conference, couldn't
I don't think so.
It's
'cause
not a
it's
good
gonna
thing to
be
do
open.
that.
Yeah.
Are we able to do a meeting on Monday?
Yep.
I can.
What time on Monday?
Whenever you want. I'll make it.
I don't know if I can be here Monday. I'm on my own hauling kids around on Mondays. But I could
Thursday?
I could tell you what I think and.
Thursday?
it's-
I'm here Thursday.
Thursday?
The sooner the better, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
I'm here
that's fine.
Thursday.
Just gotta announce it and
Okay.
let me know the time.
This
I feel
week,
more
right?
comfortable studying these.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right,
who made a motion?
We need to stay
I
after
made
the
a motion.
meeting.
Brian made the motion,
Supported.
Bob
That's why we
supported.
can stay
Okay.
after the meeting and do it. You know, hate to hold these people up.
All right, and then we'll study them. I am gonna let
Tonight, right?
Accurate know that there is a typo in their, on their,
Mm-hmm.
on their
Yeah,
bid.
'cause it's 150.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Next on the agenda. Um, that would be you, Dave.
Oh, yeah, a new switchgear and Wi-Fi. Brian, we're gonna need your help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this why our Wi-Fi doesn't work?
Right, the
Okay.
Wi-Fi crapped out, we got a temporary used one that, Lynn put in here.
Okay,
He said we need a new Wi-Fi and a new switchgear.
okay.
but I have no idea what a switchgear is.
Nope, never heard of it.
Do you?
Okay.
So I got Brian.
Yeah, I was kinda wondering
He
that.
said we need one.
It's just an interconnection between it.
Okay,
It looks exactly, and the quote's very fair.
okay,
And it should work with the new cameras and the Wi-Fi bridge we wanna put out to the pavilion. That would
okay.
be the only question I would ask them. We're gonna put wireless cameras out there. I wanna ensure our bridge is gonna match what they have, but it's a newer one, cause it's a 10 gig switch. It's got all the ports we're gonna need, so.
Okay.
Did you know what he said?
I don't know, clue.
I will make a motion to accept all IT's estimate for Wi-Fi and switchgear.
I'll second it.
All right, does anyone have any discussion that they wouldn't understand anyway? All right, roll call vote since we're
All right,
spending
Bob.
money.
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, this is removal of leaves from the township.
Oh.
This is, I would like to say, problematic. Bill was gracious enough to go ahead and get a quote for us. It was $220 an hour for 4 people. They did not tell us how long they expected. Did they tell you?
There's one time in the trail, they can't give you a quote, I was gonna tell you. I got one feel about it done, I mean, close to it anyway now.
And they would haul the leaves out of off the township, so,
Is that preferred?
yes, yes. Ron got a quote for $975. They would leave the leaves on site. The problem with that is were we to put a walking trail in, the leaves there's a huge pile of leaves back there. They have to be removed from the township. Preferred, I don't believe, is planning on taking those leaves.
But they would, if you asked them. Because they got a compost pile. They take them leaves and they'll grind them up. They have over on Central, they have a compost.
Okay,
They got a pretty big organization there, and they got a lot of good equipment. They can get things done fast.
So we got 2 quotes from Mr. Bill and from Ron, who are both on the Parks and Recreation Committee.
right, and
What's
the
their
other.
recommendation?
Well, there's no recommendation. The other thing is, I have a call in to White Lake Excavating, which most townships use to haul their leaves away.
Oh, okay.
I have not heard back from them.
Okay.
So, there's also an issue with what we do. I'm not asking for this motion at this particular board meeting.
Okay.
There's also an issue on composting of our leaves at the township site, which we may have to deal with at some point, which is leaf removal.
Okay.
And so we may at some point want to get White Lake Excavating involved. So, but Bill is more hard pressed right now to get the leaves removed from the ball field or
Okay.
from the whole township park here.
Right.
So we really do need to, I don't think even though the lower price, I don't want to put my thoughts out here. We need to get the leaves removed from the township.
Do we have a
park.
guesstimation of the cost, how many hours?
He doesn't.
I was thinking right around, I'm guessing,
8, 10?
That's what, yeah.
We can make a motion to go up to as much as, that, I guess, if it needs to be taken care of.
4 guys. They get a lot done in a day, and they're on equipment.
Yeah.
They'll be on
Be
the
a lot of
blowers
leaves.
with the vacuums.
Can we give them we have budgeted this much money?
Yeah, you could set up a budget, that's fine. I mean, I got this field, infield all done pretty well, that side going, I have about 22 loads so far out there.
Okay.
I can put a pile, I have a couple hundred loads through the years out in the field out there. There are a lot of leaves out there. You see them.
Yeah, it's a huge pile of leaves.
$2,500 if they spent 10 hours?
What is our budget like for, you don't have that, we didn't, wow.
Well, no.
That
we-
falls under Parks and Rec. though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I would, well, you could
No.
do it either. You could
Yeah.
call it,
What if you cut them down to 2, Heather?
huh?
What if you said 2,000?
She checked.
I'm looking, as I don't remember what we have in there. Okay, so we, for this upcoming fiscal year, we budgeted 6,000 for salaries for Parks and Rec and 30,000 for capital outlay.
It doesn't fall under salaries.
It doesn't,
It's
no.
capital outlay.
It's more of
We
a
have a-
maintenance
It's
type
a-
of,
it's
We
a
have
maintenance.
official quote on that?
Yeah.
Written? Bid?
Preferred, but we have to have a new contract because it's literally written to Bill Jeffries as the customer and he would have to pay for it.
Okay.
And I don't think he wants to do that. Not unless you want to be really magnanimous and.
We got a special board meeting coming up in a couple weeks, we could
Well,
prove it. unless
and the
needs
one
a
that
number for
Ron
that.
talked to, are they bonded? Are they insured?
I don't know.
Okay.
This
But
was
we
a-
know preferred is.
We know preferred is.
That's why I called them, because they were insured.
They've
Yeah.
That's why I called that, because they were insured.
Well, we gotta,
What do you think?
you know,
Dave?
watch our liability.
Dave says just do it.
Just do it.
I agree with him.
You're gonna pay for it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Bill is.
Yeah, Bill is.
I'll make a motion up to
Bill-
$2,000 to have the leaves removed by
Support.
preferred.
Okay,
All in favor, we'll get a vote.
yeah.
Bob?
Yes.
Heather?
yes.
Linda?
Yes,
Dave? Yes. Brian?
Yes.
they have
Yeah,
to
I
be
made the
able to
motion.
play softball. The motion is to
Yeah, make a
to
motion.
pay for to have preferred pay for the for the softball, pay for the leaf removal. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the 24-25 board meeting dates, and you should all have that in your packet.
Yep. Yeah.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion
I'll second.
to approve the board meeting schedule for
Support.
24,
Just a
25.
second Tuesday.
We have a motion and a support. Any discussion? Hearing none?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. These are set, Heather. Thank you.
Good.
All right, next on the back of your page is, which we rarely go to the back side, I apologize, unfinished business. We had to have the attorney review these. He made a few adjustments on our ball field contract. Which oddly, he made more adjustments on the ball field contract than he did on the pavilion. He made very few on the pavilion. All right.
I'm just confused.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last time, right?
Hmm.
Get it clarified.
I'll make a motion to accept the ballpark field use agreement.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I need some little clarification. I guess I'm confused.
Okay.
We're talking about leasing the field out, right? For tournaments.
No. Well, okay, potentially you could, but we have Holton Youth Softball uses our fields every year. And
Is that covered under this?
that's what this is for. Our
Says
insurance
children's
company
leagues.
wants us to have
Oh,
an agreement with them in writing. we have never had an agreement with them. They've always provided us their proof of insurance, but we've never had an agreement, and our insurance company wants us to have an agreement. That's what this is.
Well, this is for teams organized within the township limits.
Yeah, I saw that too, and the team is Holton Youth Softball, which is actually in Holton Township, so I don't know if we need to edit that, modify
Yeah,
that.
I mean, is this a
You know, it says,
donation?
But it's-
except in township, where I actually consider them in township, because they're
It's
school,
our
it's
school
the
district.
school
It's
district.
kind of, it's our.
We could edit that to say school district or school,
I mean, is it okay for us to donate the field for?
we can't donate.
I
The
know,
attorney
I know.
made that, he,
We cannot donate
yeah,
township funds for,
yeah.
even though it's a good cause, you know? But, I mean, how do you, we have to have something, you have to define it somehow. If it's for the school district, and that's not within our township limits.
It's not for the school district, it's for the youth softball league.
Not part of the school
It is
league,
not
the team?
done by the school, it's separate from the school.
So rec
What-
league, Dave.
yeah.
Hmm?
Rec- It's called a rec.
Yeah.
So we could say, except Children's Rec League. Or School District Rec League.
Yeah, I don't know how you would word it, but,
Yeah.
I mean, these are families that live, many of them live in Cedar Creek,
Yeah.
and they're, you know, just because the school league, I don't even know that the rec league has an address that you could
Yeah.
say that, you know, but.
Yeah,
What if we had a league outside of our township somewhere else that wanted to use these fields?
that's where the fee comes in.
Yeah, that's where there
Do
would
we
be
have a fee defined in here for that though?
There's only the fee exceptions for tournaments.
Yeah, just for the tournaments, I mean.
So you wanna add a fee so that it's in there if somebody,
I mean, there's no one banging down our doors at you.
Right, well,
But they
that's
could-
the thing.
But you
but
gotta
they-
anticipate,
But they
Yeah.
literally could.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I mean, if
they
somebody
could.
like over
Okay.
in Dalton Township or whatever, off River Road, they
Yeah,
got
we got
leagues
nice
down there.
fields.
We do, we have a beautiful park, why wouldn't everyone want
I
it?
know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know what kind of numbers you would,
Turn over the Parks and Rec, let them determine.
Well,
Mm.
if you need something that Tony look at, might as well go ahead with it.
Heavens
well,
no.
we kinda like to get something done because
They have to
the
sign
youth
it.
are ready to start practicing
Yeah.
and so we.
So, to carry a little further, if we're not gonna charge them to use the field, why are we gonna charge them for tournaments?
That is for if an outside, it says except for
Outside.
in township.
So school, there's
children's
one
league.
in Holton could participate in tournaments here
Yeah,
at no charge.
correct.
Right, but if, you know,
Here's
maybe
where
there's
you-
an adult softball league looking for a spot and they're
They would
not
charge
around
them.
here,
We would
they
charge
could
them.
rent our
We
field
would
if
charge
they
them.
wanted.
Okay,
Which could well happen, Dave.
Yeah,
all right, that's fine. Just wanna get some clarification.
No, that's fine, and we can amend it if we need to, you know.
Are you comfortable, or do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Till something comes up, our team wants to come in or
Well,
something.
which is why
deal
it
with
can
that.
be amended.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can be amended.
Yeah.
need a motion and a vote?
Yeah. We have a support and we've discussed, so we need to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries. All right, now, I'm moving on to the pavilion agreement. This was modified to reflect the vote, at our last meeting. And the attorney made very few, changes to this. He changed words like, he added like Cedar Creek in a couple places and rental agreement instead of lease agreement. Added the word temporarily. Miscellaneous. And added the signature blocks. So,
Do we need a motion and
We
support
do.
so we can discuss?
we do.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a support.
So in the paragraph numbered 1, on the front page, first page, it states lessee may also use the basketball court, playground, and adult workout stations. However, these are to be shared with all township guests and are not for the exclusive use of the lessee. I was wondering why the ball fields aren't included in that.
If you
It's
have
part
a
of the
family
playground,
picnic.
That's what I mean, I would think they
Yep, we
should be
could.
able to
They
use
should-
the
we-
ball fields if they're here for a picnic. Can we
Yep.
add that in with
We can.
basketball courts? Okay.
I'm trying to think as my concern, there's a concern in terms of,
Oh,
the
unless it's being used
used
for,
by the
unless
Tournament or
league.
something.
Yeah,
okay.
unless it's being used with a special agreement, but the,
Well, it does go on to say, however, these are to be shared with all township guests and are not for the exclusive use of the lessee. So, if you're having your picnic and nobody's playing
Right.
ball, you can play ball
Okay.
too.
Yep.
all right.
Does that make sense? Okay.
So we should add the softball. Or baseball, I guess you call it, fields,
There's softball.
softball
Right.
fields.
You're done, Heather?
So I wasn't here at the last meeting. I'd like us to take that damage deposit fee out. I think people are gonna be annoyed. I talked to Eric, the auditor, just to ask how we need to track all of this. So if somebody pays their damage deposit, and they write a check, I have to cash their check.
Can't you just stick it in the safe in there, save it?
No, I have to, in order to track everything the way that you're, supposed to.
This will be off the books.
I know, but, you're gonna have people that are potentially holding a spot that's 6 months away, a year away. That could add up to a lot of deposits and a lot of checks or cash that we can't have sitting in our safe. We have to receipt it into our system, we have to deposit the check in the bank, and then after their event, we have to write them a check to refund their money. And I know, I think it's gonna be a big hassle, I think people are gonna be irritated. Why are you gonna cash my check if I don't do any damage? All the townships I called don't charge damage deposits. I think we should take it out. That's just my opinion.
So we're discussing this, correct?
Yeah.
We're in that portion, correct? We voted on it last time as a committee. And since I've sat on this board, it's always a learning experience. I came and I wanted to be elected to support my township and the people in this township, period. I'm a 5th generation Cedar Creek. We all work very hard. The committees work very hard. I see there's a disconnect between our committees and the board sometimes. Potentially, we need to discuss this amongst the board. How can we support those committees a little bit more? So if they have a will, I've sat on this board and we voted against the will of those committees who have dedicated their time. The board has the final say. That is not gonna ever change. But potentially more communication with those boards so those people know that at least their voices have been heard, right? And a discussion with that board. I can be made available if there's a meeting and they're getting to the end of a final. I don't wanna there's 10 steps to get to where they wanna propose something to us. I don't think I should be involved in that until they get close to the end. And then I'm gonna ask that I can be invited to those meetings and sit down with that committee. What is your will? why you're talking this way. Nobody on this board should apologize for the votes that they do. We don't do it for the harmony of the board, sometimes we do, to go along, but we should always vote with truly how we feel. And I'll always let you know, right from the beginning, where I'm at, and then through data and comments and convincing me, you can change my opinion. We always bang no, and then we take a look at things, or yes, and we move through that. So with the hard work of these committees, I don't want them feeling it is not being heard. It's being heard. There's another discussion open up on this, potentially, before we make motions and we move, we need to have a little bit more of a discussion amongst the board and amendments, and truly talk to the Parks and Recs Committee, that's what I would like to do, and determine what we want to do. I wanted a deposit fee, okay? I can be events not to have a deposit fee. If there's legal requirements that we're going to get entangled in, we don't truly have a place to keep those, it's a hassle, right? And the committee feels that way, but still, again, as a committee member, I am going to vote hard. But I always welcome you to try to convince me of what you want to do on that committee. So, you know, I wasn't adamantly opposed to it just in the beginning. I'm like, I think it should be, because if they tear up our stuff, they should be held accountable. That's how I feel. With a lease agreement, if it says that they're responsible for those damages, then potentially I'm not going to drive my flag in the sand and say, yeah, we got to have it. So I'm not opposed to that, right? But I just want to make that's going to be my statements at the end. So on this here, I'm not opposed to adjusting that. I'm not opposed to taking a look at what the committee wanted to do. In the beginning, I truly thought, and after hearing that and some other comments, well, maybe I was incorrect. Maybe it doesn't need to be that way. So I'll get off my soapbox.
You can be on your soapbox, it's
Nice,
okay.
nice soapbox.
I talked to Jennifer Hodges today, and I wanted to just get a better feeling on the Parks and Rec and on charges for, you know, parks, and they don't do a damage deposit. But she said, good luck collecting
Yeah.
if somebody does
I can
wreck your stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
that's understandable.
Yeah, so it truly is 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, the
But-
townships that I talked to had not had any trouble with damage
Yeah.
by anyone who rented. Any damage is it's not gonna come from somebody who signs an agreement. More than likely, it's gonna be
Right.
someone who's
Yeah.
there, you know, at odd hours or something.
With at the odd hours, you're absolutely right. I don't think our pavilion renters are going to be the ones that do this. I think it's some malicious mischief going on after hours. That's the damage that's going to happen. But who are we to know? I mean, so we can only do our best to make informed decisions and hope we're doing the right thing. I agree with you as well. You know, I might get pretty irritated if somebody held my check for or cashed a check for 6 months. You know, depended on how flush my checking account was. Those are valid, you know, points to make.
Well, and the board, from what I was told, didn't wanna charge the people. So I don't wanna hold their $100, you know, cause that's almost, it's like charging, you know, depending on the amount of time. I'm gonna hold your $100, that's a good amount of money, and now you know, they have to wait for it to come back, so I think I would rather not have it in there.
People can get their credit card number, hold that. Any charges, we charge them.
We can't do anything with their credit card once we.
Oh, okay.
Just dispute the
I'll
charge.
run it through.
I'm not opposed to removing that. Potentially there's more, because the board voted, and I'm not opposed to amending this.
Okay.
I'm not.
The Parks and Rec committee did not
Okay.
advise a
All right.
damage deposit.
Okay.
so.
And now hearing there's gonna be a hassle for the township.
Yeah, yeah.
We wanna make this a great place where people, though, if we have lots and lots and lots of time spent controlling all this, it's a bigger cost to us.
Mhm.
And we do have, by the way, we do have people who have already put in their
By
rental.
calling and asking, yeah.
Okay.
They put their names on the calendar.
Okay.
So this isn't something we can just say, oh, let's push this down the pike. We could perhaps wait for, until the March 20, whatever that date is.
27.
27th, to make our final decision, but, it's not something that we can.
I'm fine
Just
with
keep-
everything else in it, that was the only thing that I was hoping we could change.
The only other thing I questioned was the alcohol.
The what?
Alcohol. You know, this is family park, family playground. I have no problem with people bringing a couple beers. But if you're gonna be out there selling it and having, setting up a bar and stuff,
We can hold alcohol, we can hold events too with alcohol as a township. We
I
could
know
hold
we
it,
wanna do that.
You'd have to have a permit.
we'd
Yeah,
have to have a
yeah.
special permit,
I know.
but that's why it's
just
in there.
the appearance I'm concerned about. So we have, you know, strictly no smoking, but you can drink. No problem.
Which I still have to check.
But they have to jump through some hoops, right?
Yeah, this is not an easy thing to get a liquor license.
That's a full special permit.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I mean, if
Just
you want,
comment.
if you want to amend it for no deposit, I'm not gonna.
okay.
Me neither.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you did it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Cause they'll be bugging you for the check to get their money back.
All right, we're not gonna charge anyone anything, and we're not gonna charge a damage deposit.
Let's try it.
Okay.
We did suggest that we would revisit this in 1 year.
Okay, we did.
Okay. All right, so we're just adding softball fields and removing damage deposit.
Fair trade.
Isn't there a charge for non-residents? This agreement is only for residents.
We are
So
doing
a
a
separate
separate one,
agreement will have
because we
the
thought it would be too
Non-resident
confusing.
charge, okay.
So this will mirror that, only we will have one that says a $50 fee for non-residents. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
All right, so with those edits, if you are comfortable, may I have a vote to approve this?
You want a roll call vote, or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That was painful.
It was good.
Okay, you have on your desk the resolution to apply for the grant. As I explained, this is a requirement of applying for the Michigan Township participating plan. And Dave has already acquired the information necessary for me to apply for that. I have talked to Josh Giddings, because as part of that, there's also the hookup. So the information on, just so you're fully informed, I don't have that piece of it was $3,600, right around there. Josh told me that it would be about somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 to run the conduit, the wire to the box. So that's what we're looking at. The grant is probably going to be about $2,500.
Oh, good.
So it's due Friday, so in between Board of Review, I'm going to be working on that.
Oh, good.
I'll move to adopt the resolution to apply for the grant.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So if you will sign this today.
More work.
That's a pen. That's a blue pen, unless you want black.
All right, under recurring business, during a staff meeting, we talked about the Cedar Creek connections, and thank you so much, Dave. We have done everything under the sun to make Cedar Creek Connections or the school messenger program work. We've put it, Andy O'Reilly has put it on Facebook, I don't know how many times. We've put it in the newsletter. We've asked people here, person to person. We've done every single thing we could. And we have less than 100 people. And so it just does not feel like a fiscally responsible thing to continue this. That was the consensus of the people in our staff meeting. It will be about approximately $1,500 to renew this for our second year. And I need a formal vote to terminate this program.
I'll
A
make a
motion.
motion to terminate it.
Support. Oh, Heather, go
No,
ahead.
you're good, you're good.
Any discussion?
No.
All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
motion carries. Last item on the agenda is you, Dave. Did you get that in?
Yes, I got the quote for our annual insurance policy, which is just under $16,000, which I think he budgeted, so I need to make a motion. This includes everything in the kitchen sink, cyber security and
Yep, which is a good thing.
marine security.
Marine security?
Inland marine, they call it.
Oh, 16,000, that's what we budgeted. Okay.
We're just under that.
Okay.
But we're still waiting for the quote on the pavilion and the holder. It shouldn't be a holder, so.
Okay, so those needed to be added.
Those need to be added into the, or they weren't in the original quote.
Okay, are the playground and the adult exercise?
yes,
That's
all
in
that's
there?
in there, yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you need the motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the Burnham and Flower insurance renewal quote.
Support.
Well, we're talking
Okay.
money?
We're talking money. Bob?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Brian?
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Board comments?
Start at that end.
I'll start. So to reiterate what I was speaking about there, first of all, thank you for everybody that comes out to the meetings. There's a lot going on in this township, exciting to be sitting up here, be part of it. There's a lot going on in the background with different committees out there, so I want to say again to the committee people, evidently sometimes your message doesn't get brought forth as strong as it should. I will make myself available when they get close to presenting a proposal to come to their meetings and discuss what they are trying to portray to us. But always understand on a committee that the board is the final say, but I haven't really seen that where you can't be persuaded or convinced with data and documentation. The budget thing is a huge thing. I was unfortunately couldn't make a couple of the meetings. I'm sorry for that. I was very busy, and I look forward to those numbers and that budget. The group does a great job on it, and we hit the numbers every year, and that's Heather especially, and everybody else's hard work behind it. And it's great to be part of this. I'm looking forward to hopefully to get reelected next year, and there's just so much happening. It's exciting times.
Dave?
I have nothing 7:30.
Yeah. I have been tasked with reminding or letting people know when we selected our arts and crafts fair, we selected August 17th. And unfortunately, that's the date of Ross Park. We do not want to compete with Ross Park. So we have backed it up to August 10th. So,
Turn
yeah.
that 7 into a 0 there.
Yeah. That's all I have to say. I've said enough. Heather.
I've said enough too, I think.
You don't have nothing?
I said everything, I think.
Okay. Natural gas. I have been in contact with Courtney Robinson from DTE. She informed me that there's no grants that we could get that would move our natural gas further down the line. But she did say if I checked with our state rep, he might be able to find funding for this. So I did contact him. And I'm waiting on numbers, but I got 110 houses that will be on this next project. And it'd be Cedar Road, Brickyard Road down there, and Cedar Road. She said on her note here that everybody's gotta be within a 2-mile radius of the main. Well, from this line down here, you go 2 miles, exactly, you end up right at Maple Island Road, so anyways, I've talked with Curtis Vanderwall, the state rep. He just wants me to get the information, so me and Dave have plans of going out and talking to these folks and seeing if we're getting a yes or a no. We're gonna tell them it's not guaranteed, but it's just a start, and just to try to, and if DTE sees a lot, she said they may be able to find a program, but there's no guarantee at this point. But I just want to let people know there is something going on, and I do have emails. Matter of fact, when I emailed her on the 15th, the 16th at 5:07 a.m. she sent me back the text. So that was pretty awesome. So, but there's things happening, and I'm always optimistic. I knew it took us a while for the last one. Hopefully this one won't take as long.
Are you talking to John Brumstead?
Not John, no, just the state rep. When I talked to Curtis, he said that, I asked him about Bumstead, and he said, well, we could see what we could do on our level first, so.
Okay.
But he may have talked to him, but it was mentioned. Because I'd like to get everybody in that I can involved, and I asked Will Snyder if there's money over there. He said there's money there, but that's not allocated yet, but first come, first serve, that's how it works. So I'm trying to, hopefully we get some good weather and me and Dave can get out, and I think it's only gonna take a couple days to get the rest of this information off to Courtney and to Curtis,
Mhm.
or Kurt.
Kurt, yeah.
But, I'm not gonna give up,
No,
just not who I am, it's not my DNA.
no. I think he seems to be very helpful.
Well, we need it out here for our people. I mean, Dave got a cost to run the line to his house, $10,000 from here to his house, and then down his driveway is another $10,000. That's $20,000. That's crazy.
I like wood. I'll stick with wood.
But the cost of putting pipe in the ground went up 66% this year, 2024.
How much is that per year for the rest of your life?
Never make it up.
Never make it up.
Never get it back.
Wow. Okay. Anyone else would like to say something?
I have a question. You said we could, open up
Yes,
the
yes,
budget
yeah.
again because you closed it.
Mm-hmm.
I usually buy artificial flowers and put them on the cemetery. Was that, I didn't notice, Heather, was that in the budget or do I have to
Let me
request
double
that?
check. I remember talking
I
about
thought I
that
seen it in there.
in one of our.
I thought it was $500 or something.
So we budgeted $300 for supplies.
Oh.
Great, thank you, dear.
Yep.
So I can go ahead and get that done.
So-
Yep,
I
yep.
didn't have my glasses
Just save
on.
your
It makes
receipt.
sense.
Yes, I will.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Let me follow procedure.
Following his own rule.
Right.
Just wants to be on camera.
Well, yeah, because I'm not on camera enough. I'm sick of watching me on camera. In regards to the Parks and Rec, and the fees and the thing, I speak from a position of experience when I work on the Parks and Rec. I'm not a fool. I build self-sustaining events that fund their own things. I've also built some parks and worked on some other levels of different things. And the idea of charging a small fee, even for our residents, is to build community. Because with that rental fee, that is an investment in that park for the long term. It's not about trying to dig $25 out of a resident. It's not about trying to recoup a cost of what that pavilion cost, and it's not about the 100-year duration of that building. It's about building that park. Over time, that park is going to decay, and we will not always have the money to repair that park. Swings, bolts, things that fall apart. To build an account for perpetuity for the future is where that funding will go. We can continue to build events to be used in that park. With that money coming in from rental fees, be it our residents or not, that money will build itself into a fund that will endow that park for a long time. That being said, we can continue on with our garage sale that's coming up, and we've got the fall festival again we can do this year, and all these different kind of things. The Parks and Rec Committee is so much more than putting a few things out there for people to come and do and be a part of. There are sponsorships involved. There are people that donate things. There are multiple levels of recruitment to get people in and involved, and that builds community. It is a heavy lift. And to hear comments under your breath, and I'm going to point you out, Brian, because you did. Later on in the meeting, you said to Linda, yeah, flip it back to Parks and Rec. And she said that would be a bad idea.
That
It's
was
my
supposed
3
to be-
minutes.
Okay.
It's my 3 minutes. I appreciate your thoughts.
Yes.
And I respect your position.
Yep.
You're gravely mistaken in that idea. If I walk away from this and leave that up to you to build, can you do it?
Can I speak?
No, not yet.
All right.
That's a rhetorical question for now.
Yeah.
Can you build events like I can? Fair enough. The next thing to consider is we're not always going to be here, right? With this book. We're not always going to be here to watch what's going on in that park. If we have a rental agreement with a small amount of money down on it, it's going to prevent things that we cannot be here to police. So if your parents have that park reserved for a day, and another group comes along, and they say, well, you got a rental agreement, you've got the park for the day, but big deal, it's an open park, their event's gonna suffer. Your family reunion just got blown because they have no exclusivity under their agreement because they reserved it for the day. That's a bad thing. We can't patrol that, and that's gonna come back on us as a township. And it's gonna make us look bad. And after that, that's when the damage and the harm-yaks start. So I would ask that the board takes a look at who are on these boards and those kind of things that are coming to you and why, and maybe think a little deeper than we're trying to get 25 bucks out of our residents, because it's a lot more than that. It's a heavy lift to engage a community. And that's coming from the very first meeting I ever came to in Cedar Creek, where they were really literally to kill each other over a two-way battle, which is never going to be decided in Cedar Creek. We had to hold that in Holton because they couldn't even speak to each other. And look where we are today. It's a hell of a lot better. Thank you for my time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I've got a silly question.
Okay.
No such thing.
Who around here is in charge of the clocks?
Oh, we can't figure out how to do that one, so we have to wait 6 months.
That was a good answer. That'd have been something I would have.
Lorraine says in 7 days it turns off.
That's all I needed, an excuse.
Great question, though. Could I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Support.